Welcome back, everybody, to the hardcore world where I have spent way too much time building up some more houses here in the kingdom, and I have a ton of stuff to show, basically to share with you today. We added about 6 more houses over here on the far right-hand side of the village, and this current area that I'm working on up here, which is going to be like a little overpass, maybe like a little guard tower or something, need to add another gate here with the trapdoors, but we added, I want to say, a little more than 6 houses, because we had this little area right here before, so if we do some simple math, that's 8 more houses. Don't mind my torch spam, but I do want to say, while I was building one of these houses, it was this house right here, I might need to make some lightning rods, because while I was making the houses around it, I was like, I hear fire. It's over here storming, and I was like, I hear fire. And little did I know, that entire roof was on fire, and I was frantically trying to put it out before it spread to the other houses, and basically I had to completely repair that one house. But yeah, out of all the Minecraft worlds I've ever played, I've never had lightning strike any of my buildings. I've had lightning strike next to it, but never one of my buildings. Now, I want to kind of show you around what I've built, because as you know, we had, if I come over here, this was pretty much the area that we had before. We had this house right here and this house built. Everything behind it was not even made. So if we take a detour down this aisle, I say aisle like I'm at a retail store, but I added these little gates right here, these little walls. I need to add some more texture to them, but added a little tree back here just for some decoration. None of this is super final yet. I was just trying to fill in some gaps, but I'm going to save that for last. This is my little working area. I had a bunch of chests full of resources here. I completely deforested. I went on a 5,000 block journey to find a biome that wasn't spruce, and managed to get an oak sapling. Brought it back here and just duplicated it by just planting 1,000 trees, mining them, dropping 1,000 more saplings, and doing that process. But added some more banners. Now you can either count these as banners or like drying clothes. I kind of count them as drying clothes because this is supposed to be the less fortunate area of. Thanks, GeForce. Hi. Yeah, you're a little late to the party, GeForce. Yeah, this is supposed to be like the less fortunate area of the kingdom, the poorer area, as you want to call it, lower class. But none of these buildings are super interior finished yet. Haven't got that far. We'll take a little detour down here. Go down this alleyway right here, and as you can see, it's the other side of that fence that we had. But going through here, more banners. And this alleyway, just this pathway right here, has to be my favorite, especially during nighttime, because it's so condensed and the houses are so close to each other that it just looks great. Another little tree right here. But this one right here, this has to be my favorite. It is so compact, and this might as well just be where all the thieves are living and stuff. Kind of want to add like some boarded up windows with some signs and stuff like that, but not too much going on in terms of just decorations over here. Got a few more houses over here towards the end. None of them super decorated, like I said. Then I went ahead and added another gate right here, and we're also going to add another gate over there when we get building over there. And then up here is a little walkway that I made. Like I said, I'm not too sure what I want to do with this. Up there on top of the walls going into the hill is going to be where like the guards chamber is. Oops. And the barracks going underneath the keep, that's going to be up there. So this right here could probably be like a little mine, or a little like, I could probably just make like an Easter egg here, make it like a little hobbit hole or something, but not sure what I want to do with this area at the time being. And then some plans for out here is, there's a good area to build out here. And one thing I want to do is see if the render distance is over here, but no, there's a body of water right there. And I want to make a shipyard. I want to make a dock, but the problem is there's ice everywhere. And I don't know how I want to do the ice, because I want there to be water, but in certain spots, like, I don't know how to get the ice to melt without obviously putting string or something down and obstructing the flow of water. So if anyone have ideas on how to keep the ice permanently melted, like if I could put sea lanterns underneath the water or something, and that will like emit a heat source or something. I play Minecraft. I play Minecraft as a hobby, but I'm not too smart. Yeah, great little view out here, and definitely some farmlands or something we can put out here, but I'm either going to put the harbor here or on the other side of the kingdom. Now, I kind of wanted to discuss my plans for what we're going to do after we get this housing section done. I'm not completely done with this housing section, but I'm to a point where I can kind of deviate from it and start working on other things and fill in the gaps in between. But over here, where there's the torch spam galore, you know, I kind of kept it organized at first, but then I just said screw it. Over here, I want to make a town square. So right here is going to be like, I say a town square, but it's going to be a circle. And then, so say we have a circular platform right here, like it's made out of cobblestone, stone bricks and stuff. And then around it is a bunch of shops. Obviously, these are going to be different colored roofs because these are shops. So probably some black stone or some like deep slate. We got a pathway going up there. And then I want to keep the keep right there. So everything, when you're walking through the center of the gate, you see the main structure right there through the gaps in the housing district and stuff like that. But we're going to build the town square here, and I want to get a layout of that down today before we end everything off. And then over here is going to be where our like weapons shops are and stuff like that. I'm not sure what I want to do with this place, because I want to knock out some of those hills and make it a flat land and build a higher class housing district up here, and then have another layer on top of that where the keep would be. So we still have a crap ton of work, and this has taken me long enough, but I also need to construct some chimneys for the other houses because I haven't done that yet. And living in a snow biome, you kind of need a heat source. So while we're over here gathering resources, I want to tell you how I almost lost this entire hardcore world. So I was messing around with a mod called Terralith, which adds new biomes, new biome generation to the game. And look, I'm not very big brain. I have fish brain syndrome, and I loaded the hardcore world with the mod installed, which messed up the biome MBT data and stuff like that. Basically, the world was trying to load with Terralith installed, so if I loaded it without Terralith, it would basically say the world was corrupt because it couldn't find the data pack and stuff like that that Terralith adds to the worlds. And the reason this is a problem is because whenever I do complete the series and I give y'all the world download, it would require y'all to have Terralith, which I don't want. I want it to just be simple, something I can give y'all and y'all can play vanilla. So that was the main problem, and I had to go through all the MBT datas and sit there and delete everything that had relationships to Terralith, because that was the only way that it was going to load without it. Go home. Why are you here? I also need to find out a new food source. I've been harvesting wheat over there at the wheat farm next to the keep because that's my only source of food right now. But I have completely just destroyed my entire food source. I also made sure everything else that I had on me was repaired before doing this. I had to do a lot of mining. Got a bunch of like resources. I had to get some more coal to smelt stone and stuff. So it was a good source of XP. But I guess I could build it at a netherrack for the layout. Yeah, let's get some netherrack because it's an easy block to break. I'm gonna have to go get some more resources because I've pretty much tapped out everything I have at the kingdom for making those houses. Also, these guys have somehow migrated towards the lake. I don't know what they're doing. This guy, that's not your job block, my friend. Huh? Not your job block? I know, it's crazy. But yeah, these people have migrated. I don't know if they're trying to get an early advancement into the kingdom or something, but it's not open, guys. You gotta calm down. Signs are still working. Need to get some more glow squids, the stupid stinky glow squids. Still wish we got the isologer from that mob vote. I can't be the only one who wishes that. So what we need to do here is we need to figure out where the center of the... So this is the center block, I think. We need to figure out what the center block is, which is this one that I'm standing on, because I want this to be a straight shot into the housing or the shop district. And what we need to do is about right here, which if we go in the free cam, seems like a good center point for a big circle for the housing or the shop district. I'm gonna keep calling it housing district because I've been working on that. But now you're about to witness how good I am at making circles. Jesus, that's fast. Let's go 10 out. So that should be 10, and then I got to do this in all the other directions real quick. I might even extend this out to 15. So, no, yeah, we got to keep it. We got to keep it at 10 because I don't want it to get too close to these houses over here. I also need to sleep real quick because I had a creeper blow up one of these houses as well, which is crazy, right? With all these torches, but this area over here is not too lit up, so I need to go ahead and just do a snoozies. Okay, so now we got to make a circle, which, as I was saying before, I am the best circle maker in all of Minecraft. I'm about to regret this sentence whenever I make an oval, but just trust the process, all right? Trust. All right, and it's not too good of a circle, but it's a circle after all, and honestly, we might need to make it a tad bit bigger But, I mean, with some big houses going out the outside edges, yeah, I think we might need to extend it out a little bit, so I'm going to do that real quick. Now that's more like it. That's an accurate circle. Now that's pretty good. Now, did I keep the center mark lined up with the door? Well, it was already there, so it has to be, but yeah. So we're going to put, like, basically a building right here that kind of wraps around this side. One right here, one right here, one right here. And there's going to be walkways between them all, or probably in the corners. I'm not exactly sure, but I want it to be kind of condensed in here, where, like, each shop has a hanging sign above it. There's, like, banners everywhere and stuff like that, which basically requires me to get a bunch of different stone materials and fill this in real quick. So I'm going to do that really fast. Now, there's no real rhyme or reason to this. I'm kind of just spam placing, and it's hopefully going to give me the best the best outcome to this. Now, since this is going to be one of the more, like, established districts in the kingdom, I want to use more, like, I guess, put-together blocks, so stuff that's not cracked, like cobblestone and all that. So I'm using andesite, stone bricks, and tuff, because those are kind of more the, I guess, extravagant blocks, as you could consider them. In my eyes, that's what I'm using them for. That's not too bad. Now I just need to go in here and fill in some gaps with some stone bricks. And then the tuff is going to be more, like, kind of spread in. So it's going to be in smaller groupings. I'm over here trying to make builder talk, and, you know, I build in Minecraft, but I am nowhere near being crazy good at building. I'm going to need to grab some more stone bricks. Yeah, I'm going to go grab some more stone bricks. Okay, so that's not too bad at all. If I go into free cam real quick, you can see that the tuff is kind of spread out enough, but that is the ideal size circle that I want. And now I need to kind of lay down the foundations that I'm going to build for the houses. It's a very odd idea I have in mind, and I don't know how well it's going to fit in, because the outside is going to look kind of weird. But if we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 2, 3, that, and we match it back up. That is kind of the idea that I have. And if we go right here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4. Like I said, very weird design, but that's kind of what I'm thinking about doing on all 4 sides. Because you got to consider, we're going to have a 2-block roof overhang. So there's going to be a roof here and here, which leaves us this walkway. So up above, there's going to be like a 1-block space. I am just tearing apart this netherrack. But I'm going to put this layout on all 4 sides real quick and see what it looks like. Okay, so after getting the 4 different buildings that we're going to have down, I'm not too opposed to it. It doesn't look too incredibly bad in terms of shaping. It looks a little like a square, which isn't horrible. I was hoping more of a circle, but I'm going to stick with it. And then next, basically what we're going to do is, it's going to be like these houses where we have the down part right here, then it comes out one, then goes up. But it's going to be on a grander scale. Like, it's got to look more extravagant than those houses, because it's a higher, it's the more populated district. It's the shopping district. It's got to have more stuff to it. Anyways, I got to go make some food real quick. Alright, so before we can even get started on these buildings, I need to go gather a bunch of deep slate, because the roofs are going to be made out of deep slate, cobbled deep slate, tiled deep slate, and all of that good stuff. So I'm going to go gather a bunch of resources. After, we can just go now. Okay, so quite a few couple stacks of cobbled deep slate should be more than enough to get at least started with one of these building halves. So what I want to do is get these built up in my building test world, and then I'm going to do a time lapse of me building it here. So I will cut back whenever that time lapse is finished, and hopefully, yeah, we got a couple stacks of deep slate over there, and what I want to do next is finalize the build in my testing world, and then bring it over to here and do a time lapse of me building it. So I will see y'all with hopefully a time lapse. You know, I'm really starting to dislike the replay mod. It seems whenever I record a session that's more than 3 hours long, it just doesn't like me. I built the town square. Okay, I had okay, let me explain some stuff. I had to push out the foundation a little bit because I wanted it to be more of a circular shape. And in order to do that, I had to change the design a little bit. So you can see the original layout that we had here, how far forward it was, and then you can see that we pushed it out a little bit. And I did all this, and give or take, I think it was like 3 hours and 20 something minutes off and on. It was like a straightforward process. I never left my seat, but I like the way it came out. I'm just so upset that the replay mod doesn't work after I do long recordings. I don't understand why. It's like anytime after 2 hours, it just breaks. I even forgot to fill up this hole right here. I'm gonna have to do that. But yeah, other than the replay mod breaking, this town hall is interesting because, or town hall, why do I say town hall? The shopping center is, the shopping district is interesting because, like I said, I want it to be a straight line where you can see the back of the hill right there, and it has that. I didn't even finish putting the other andesite slabs on the top of all this and outlining it. There's still some more work I need to do. I haven't completed it just yet. So that's a shop. That's a shop. You got the pathways underneath, and then when you go in here, again, no interior yet. I just brute forced this. But the whole plan is, you know, it cuts off. So like you have your own shop right here and this little underpart home shop here. And then up top is going to be basically where the people sleep and stuff like that. So it's kind of like a condo home or something. A little interesting. And then I need to add some like staircases into the back and stuff like that. Like there's a lot of work I still need to do here. Some of the windows aren't even put in. But other than that, I like the way it came out. I'm still so upset that the replay mod doesn't work. I don't understand why. It worked just fine for everything else. I need to go check like the change logs and bugs and stuff like that for the replay mod, but I do think that this gives off a grander appearance than the regular houses, and you can kind of see what I mean by the different colored roofs. And I did mention something about the outside being weird, and it's like right here. It's just so barren right here, and I tried to make it different with these little window things, like the poking out, but I don't know how I'm going to fix this. I'm going to have to do some work off camera. But nonetheless, we have done a crap ton of work today. Now, I wish this loaded because it was actually a really... I even changed the way I did this building. I did it in a way that would be pleasing for the replay mod. I did it layer by layer, so would have been really interesting. And then right here is where I want to build either like a giant sword statue, a giant like tree or something. Might even make a custom cherry blossom tree right here, just as like a symbolic thing for the kingdom. Not quite sure yet. Not quite sure what I want to do with that. Do I have food? I have food. It is a little close to the pathway right here, but then again, that's why I made the side paths going to the different areas. And then in the next episode, we are going to basically finish off any blank spaces we have right here, add a couple more houses, add a couple of houses here, kind of blend these two areas in together because right now there's a big gap right here. And then we're going to start working on the industrial district, as I call it, where all the blacksmiths, weapon shops, and stuff like that are, the king's armory and stuff like that. And then we need to kind of figure out how we're going to do the next layer because we're kind of approaching the next layer, which is dope because I had a vision for this kingdom, and it's so far coming to fruition. But nonetheless, thank you so much for watching, and I am terribly sorry about the replay breaking, but nonetheless, I hope you had a good time watching this video. If you did, consider commenting, and subscribing. Liking is the best way to spread the video. Even if you don't want to subscribe, leave it a like. That's all I ask, and you have a great rest of your day. Take care.